Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Now today's first story comes from Pantwearer123, who says, my 30 male girlfriend 32 female of 6 months has changed her behaviour recently and I want to leave. And it does come with an update as well. So I met her earlier this year. We were fast friends within a month of meeting and dating after a month. Official for 6 months or so. Met her on a night out with some friends. We live separately, but she spends a lot of time at my house as it's nearer to where she works. Our relationship started really nicely. I felt like we just got on really well and she was very supportive of me as well. But recently, she's been quite pushy about me making changes to my lifestyle and seemed angry and disappointed with the results. The two big ones are my work and what I wear. As for my work, I work at the same store I've worked at since I was 16. It's just an easy job, pays my bills, and I know how to do everything there. I'm basically a manager without the responsibility of actually being a manager, as I don't want that level of responsibility for no extra pay. I also make money via stocks and cryptocurrencies, so I don't struggle for money. As for what I like to wear, I have many jumpers and t-shirts of an emo band my friends and I loved when we were young. I genuinely have like 50 or so that I would wear a lot because it makes me happy and doesn't hurt anyone either. I admit I have a bit of a problem with anxiety. Familiarity helps me with it. Some family thinks I might have OCD, but I never have been diagnosed. My girlfriend a few weeks ago expressed frustrations with my clothes, saying that I need to grow up and get new ones. She spends a lot of money to get whatever clothes are in fashion. I don't have a problem with that as it's her money to spend, as she isn't hurting anyone, but I don't know why she has a problem with my clothes. The argument was big but resolved, and we went shopping and bought me some new clothes. They are actually quite nice and I like wearing them too. A few days later, I was wearing a band t-shirt again because the new clothes were in the wash and she was really angry about it. I explained the new clothes were in the wash and it wasn't decided that I'd completely stop wearing the band stuff. She wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the day. The next day, she had cooled off and explained that she thinks new clothes will help me grow as a person. We talked a long time and I eventually agreed to get rid of the band clothes. While I was packing them up, I started crying and she called me stupid and I asked her to leave. She came back a few hours later and we made up. I packed the boxes into my car and told her I was going to donate them. She was really pleased and said I was making the right choice getting rid of them. I didn't donate them. I took them to work and I'm keeping them there until further notice. My boss was confused but understanding. I got back home and she ordered me lots of new clothes. She told me she understands it was upsetting, but I'd be better off for it. That night, a few hours later, she wanted to talk about my work and why I'm not a manager. I explained to her that I don't want to be. She's been distant and only talks about how I should ask to be a manager. I've explained why I don't want to be and that I wouldn't even be paid more, nor is there a need for it at the store. She just keeps saying that I need to fight for a pay rise as well so I can treat us to nice things. I told her that isn't how it works and that I make money in other ways and that she has her own money too, so it shouldn't matter. She shouted at me that I'm useless and stormed out. My boss also told me she called the store and asked him why I'm not a manager. After being upset and feeling useless for a few hours, I decided that I don't want to be with her. I realized I don't see my friends as much as I used to because she likes to spend all of our free time just us. I just don't feel happy with her anymore and feel like she actually acted differently when we started out just to get close to me. She even said she loved all the band stuff when I first showed her. I think she may be right that new clothes might help me a bit. I genuinely appreciate that and like how I look in some of the clothes that we bought. But I also liked how I look in the band stuff and still think it wasn't over the top. I'd normally just wear jeans and a t-shirt or jumper anyway. I don't think it's as ridiculous as she said it was. I just thought all of it as a wearable collection. People collect weirder things. As well as this, I really don't like that I lied to her about donating the band stuff. It felt horrible and dishonest. My boss and colleagues could tell something was off when I took the box into work. I tried to be honest as I don't want to upset people. Anyway, I want to break up with her, but I know it's gonna be difficult. She's good at talking me into stuff, but my mind is made up 100% on this. I'm still not sure when or how to do it though. I'm feeling really anxious about it, wondering if you guys could give me some advice or help. How can I be assertive about wanting to break up and not have her talk me out of it? And as I said, we do have an update on this one, but Red Dress 999 says, yes, I think you are right to break up with her. She crossed all sorts of lines in my opinion. It's fine that she made some suggestions on clothing, and even that she expressed that she preferred that while in public, but asking you to get rid of them altogether, or to not wear it while lounging around the house, or at the gym or doing yard work type of thing, that's crossing the line into controlling. It's okay for her to ask about your position at work, but calling your boss, that's a major line she crossed there. That's completely unacceptable. She was treating you like a child. That's highly disrespectful. It takes two people to decide to be in a relationship. It takes one to decide to break up. When you go out to have the conversation, just remember that you aren't asking for her permission or for her to agree. You are simply informing her of your decision. Personally, I'm not a fan of the in public advice unless you feel she may be violent. Just get together with her when you can, inform her of your decision, give her a few minutes, maybe 10 or 20, to ask questions as needed, then cut it off. The whole conversation need not last more than 20 minutes. Mariner says, I think your response to all of this was completely reasonable. You opened yourself up to her suggestions and to trying new things, and you kept your boundaries about not wanting to enter a management position at your store. I think you have a healthy viewpoint on yourself, your life, and what makes you happy. The fact that she called your work to complain without telling you is a major red flag. When you end things, I would suggest that you stay focused on the fact that you are willing to change and try new things. While she was hardline and disrespectful of your choices, someone who really cares about you would behave more like you did, seeking compromise. It is going to be uncomfortable, but you can do it. If she becomes angry, ask her to leave or leave the situation yourself, but don't waver on the fact that the relationship is over. I would strongly suggest going no contact after the breakup so that she cannot manipulate you out of your decision. Piers says, oh boy, I feel like at 6 months is when people's true colours come out, and boy did hers. Here's the advice I'd give. Some is a repeat of other advice on this thread. 1. Get back all your stuff and wear what makes you feel most confident. 2. Schedule a time to meet up somewhere neutral and public. 3. If she has a key to your home, change all the locks. Keep your car parked inside a locked garage if you have one. 4. Gather up any item she has at your house so she doesn't have an excuse to ever go back there. Take it with you to give her at the meeting after the breakup. This will let her know you are absolutely serious. If she says she left such and such, tell her you will mail it. 5. At the meetup/breakup, be firm. Don't leave any rooms for options down the road, or if she begs that she'll change. She won't change, she'll just try to fool you a little longer. 6. When she asks why, be clear and honest and say, I like who I am, but you keep wanting me to change. Honestly, you are not very nice to me. I miss my friends and my old life. It's clear you want someone different. I think you should be free to go and find that person. And the big one, say, you called my work and asked my boss why I wasn't a manager. That is completely unacceptable behavior for anyone, let alone someone I've only been dating for 6 months. Good luck. So now with that information, we're going to move on to the update to find out what happened next. So it said, some things I want to address first. I work at the same place I have done for years because of my anxiety. I know how to do everything at my job, and it helps me feel grounded and not worry. When I said I'm basically a manager, I mean that I do sometimes fill in shifts and responsibilities for them, and we have talked about me officially being a manager before, but it's not what I want. I don't want to take my work home with me and never be able to switch off like I see some of them do. That said, I do want to have some more ambition in my life going forward, and I'm going to be looking at other ventures. My clothes. My band clothes are now back at my house. I still have the new clothes we bought as I paid for a lot of them, and I plan to continue wearing them too. I can see what she meant by wanting me to wear new clothes. I just didn't like her end goal or the way she went about it. For people thinking I dress like those goth people dancing under a bridge, I don't. It's usually just a band tee/jumper with some normal jeans. I'm not a teenager, just a 30-year-old who still loves the same band, lol. No hate to those dancing goths. I love that meme. Okay, so on to the main story. I took advice from some of the responses to the OP. We lived separately, so there wasn't any issues with leases, but I did change my lock as I'd given her a key a few months ago. As for the breakup, it didn't go well, but it did go at least. I was at home thinking of how to do it, which cafe, restaurant I was going to do it, etc. She finished work and came to mind without any prior discussion. Not out of the ordinary, to be fair. Anyway, she could tell something was off, and because I'd been thinking about it for hours, I was 150% sure I wanted to do it, so just did it here instead. I first told her that I had lied about donating my clothes and that I'd actually taken them to work instead. She was angry and calling me a liar and everything. I apologized for it and tried to explain that I felt a lot of unfair pressure to get rid of them when I didn't really want to and my collection wasn't hurting anyone. I don't really feel that the argument was fair, and I feel that her actions made me lie to her, but I hate saying stuff like that, so I just left it and moved on. I then told her I was really annoyed about her calling my boss. She said she was sorry, but I should be a manager. I said that's okay, and she looked confused but accepted it, I guess. Then I said I didn't want to be with her anymore because she actually had given me a second to speak. She looked shocked and asked me what I meant. I just said I didn't want to be with her anymore and that I wanted her to leave and would be changing my locks, but was open to calling to messaging about picking up her stuff. She said stuff like we don't have to break up, but I kept saying my mind is made up and technically we already had. She called me pathetic as she walked out the door and slammed it behind her. This was the other day. I haven't heard from her, but I sent her a message about picking up her stuff. There isn't much of it, so maybe she doesn't want to. Anyway, since then, I called my boss to explain that situation and be wary of any contact from her. We've worked together for years and we're good friends, so he was very understanding and said if I need help in any way, he'll try to provide it. We go for drinks often with other colleagues, so I'll explain it all to them there probably. As for me, like I said above, I do want to work on myself a bit, partly because of the things she said, but not for the same reasons. Just for me to grow a bit in terms of work experience and fashion sense. I'll be buying some more smart casual clothes to wear as well. I don't think I'll ever fully stop wearing the band clothes though, lol. I don't quite know what I want to do in terms of work, but I have the experience of teamwork and leadership from the store, which I think is usable and transferable to other jobs too. I'm feeling weird, but okay. It feels great to have acted decisively. I haven't felt sad yet, not happy either, just relieved mostly. Some of her stuff is still here and it feels weird to see it knowing it'll never be that way again. I don't know how to describe that feeling. Anyway, I've spoken to friends about it and we'll be seeing them soon. I don't know what she's been up to or what she'll do. Not sure if I want to. There's nothing left for me with her anyway. Just wanted to thank everyone for their kind words in the OP. It felt good to know that I wasn't being treated fairly and I wasn't just being stupid like she said. Some even messaged me with similar stuff or how much they liked their partners with similar habits to my band clothes, which was really nice. One of the reasons I still wear the band tees is sometimes other fans spot them and we'll have a nice conversation about it and always end the conversation smiling, lol. It's just nice. Now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? What would you have done if you was OP? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below and let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from No Kids Allowed, who says, am I the arsehole for not watching my sister's children while she finds herself? My sister is going through a messy divorce and her ex-husband has ghosted her. She was a stay-at-home mum during the marriage and that's what she has done for the last 10 years. My sister is on I much reclaim my youth phase. She wants me, I'm single and live in a small one-bedroom apartment in California, to watch her kids for the summer while she heals. The thing is, my sister lives about 1,500 miles from me, and even though I work from home 3 days a week, I'm still working about 50 hours a week, and there's no way I can take care of a 5 and 7-year-old the whole freaking summer. It's not like I can just magically take off work for 3 months. My sister is hurt and said I can get a nanny and I can afford it. She starts crying, saying she needs to reclaim herself over the summer. I told her that's bullshit and millions of people go through divorces and I doubt many people have someone else watch their children for them all summer. She was crying over the phone saying how she needed this and it's not fair that I don't have to take care of children. I don't even have a boyfriend, she told me. I ended the call with, you need to stop being selfish and think of your children during this divorce, and you can't just dump them on other people while you find yourself. I don't know where she's getting this advice from and it's stupid. My sister took it as calling her stupid and I talk just like her ex-husband. I was exhausted with arguing with her, so I just said no. It's not happening. Absolutely not the arsehole at all. Look after the kids for the whole summer. I was expecting it to come into like, used to look after them for the weekend while she finds herself, and I was still going to go not the arsehole, but the whole summer. But you know, you set your boundaries in this and you just said, no, I don't want to do it. And she still pushed it, saying, you know, you could get babysitters, you could afford it. So we've got a sprinkling of entitlement on top of it here as well. And the biggest thing to me in this was the poor kids. Whenever we get to stories with kids in, it breaks my heart. The poor children, you know, who's had their life turned upside down at the same time, who probably need a lot of stability going forward right now. And this happens. Mum is just trying to palm them off for the summer while she goes and finds herself, whatever that means. Absolutely not the arsehole to me, and I think you were totally right. But Louis Rocco says not the arsehole, and props for standing your ground and not being manipulated into an unreasonable situation. Our White Chalk Muffin says not the arsehole, you work full time and have a life to live. It doesn't matter if you can afford a nanny. It's not your sister's place to delegate where your money goes, and don't give in to her argument and stay firm on your decision, as she will try to guilt you. Your sister needs to understand that you can't just dump your kids on someone for 3 months. Yes, mental health is important, but you can't stop being a mum when you are going through something tough in life. I could understand maybe a few days or a week, but not 3 whole months. From Bilgewater says not the arsehole, your sister and children are very young and are going through a traumatic experience. Their mum could be the one and only constant thing in their life, and she's trying to abandon them as well. Even only temporarily, it'd be traumatic. I'm sympathetic for your sister, but she needs to think more of her children's needs. Sleepy Feline says not the arsehole, it's ridiculous that your sister expects you to take care of 2 young children for several months. I understand that she feels she needs some help, but what she's asking is entirely inappropriate. How's she been a stay-at-home mum for 10 years if the oldest child is 7? Sounds like she has had plenty of time to find herself before having kids. And Twin says, so 2 little children have to deal with losing both parents in a short time span, because that's how it's going to feel. 2 months is way too long for such young ones to grasp and is going to feel like forever. Poor things. Not the arsehole. And our next story comes from Cute Piano 1, who says, am I the arsehole for alienating a friend after we walked out and lost our deposit because she brought her baby to the restaurant? A while back, a group of 5 of us had planned to go to this restaurant. We all like shisha, and this place is known for theirs. We had planned this in the group chat, and we've been here before and everyone knows the drill. This restaurant has indoor and outdoor seating, so the indoor is just a normal restaurant while the outside is where you can smoke cigarettes and do shisha. We booked this restaurant a week in advance because we wanted to go on a Friday, and everywhere is super full on Friday nights. We get there and one of our friends shows up with her baby. Everyone is like, what the fuck? It's also one of those restaurants where you're seated once the entire party gets there, so the rest of us were in the little waiting area. And we're all like, are you okay with your baby being around all that smoke? And she says, I was hoping we wouldn't smoke this time. I had to bring the baby because the sitter I hired cancelled. And I tell her that even if we don't smoke, since we booked an outdoor table, we're going to be surrounded by people smoking anyways. I guess she hadn't thought that far ahead because she looked a bit panicked. We went ahead and asked for one of the staff whether it was possible to get a table indoors, but they said it was a Friday night and they are fully booked. So if we want to eat there, we're going to have to sit in the area we booked. People were a bit unhappy, but none of us wanted to ask her to leave, since she came all the way and she was our friend. So we walked out, we lost our deposit, and each of us paid our share of it to the person that booked the table, but our friend with the baby didn't. When she was asked for it, she said she'd pay it back, but when pushed, she said she didn't think that she owes anything. Then she said, how can we ask a new mum on a limited budget for money? People were angry and haven't really invited her anywhere since. She called me crying yesterday, saying that we're alienating her over something petty and that she feels depressed that no one from our group has called to see how she's been in a while. I'm sorry if there's any mistakes with my English. My first thought is, so she couldn't pay her share of the deposit, but she was going there to eat food and preferably buy drinks as well. So, you know, I don't think she's as hard up as she was making it out to be. And I do feel for people, you know, who have these babysitting issues, single mums, single dads. I really do feel for them. But at the same time, it's not everyone else's issues, is it really? So you brought your child to this restaurant, a shisha restaurant, where you know there's going to be smoking. And even when you turned up, it would have been awkward, sure, but you could have turned around and said, look, yeah, this probably isn't a good idea. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm going to have to go. You still said you was going to change everyone else's plans and tried to get them to sit in the non-smoking area. And when all that fell through and it had to be cancelled because of an issue that you caused, you don't want to pay your deposit, and then you try to manipulate everyone by saying, you know, you're a new mom on a limited budget when you went to the restaurant and was going to pay for your food anyway. That's what might have happened, or unless she was going to play that on everyone once she had her food. But Cheerily Terrified says, not the arsehole. She could have just not gone when the sitter cancelled. OK Succotash says, not the arsehole. The petty thing here is her not offering to pay the whole deposit, since losing deposit was objectively her fault. Sassa says, not the arsehole. She is selfish and should have cancelled when her babysitter cancelled on her. Regardless of having a kid, she made it worse by not paying when asked. You guys are right to not invite her to anything else. Not the arsehole. Yes, it's hard to be a new mother, and it's hard to have to deal with sitters cancelling. But what on earth was she thinking, taking a baby to a shisha restaurant? And one more from Chin Spin, who says, not the arsehole. And I tell her that even if we don't smoke, since we booked an outdoor table, we're going to be surrounded by people smoking anyways. I guess she hadn't thought that far ahead, because she looked a bit panicked, then goes on to say, life as a new mother. Everyone else was considerate of her child, but she seemed to think that life can go on as before, with others making necessary changes for her. She should have ponied up her part of that deposit. That would have been a conciliatory gesture towards ruining your night out. Instead of silence and her moping, someone needs to have a straightforward talk with her. While sympathetic and wanting mum still to have fun, the entire group is not going to suffer because of a life choice. And it reminded me of that story that we covered a while ago when there was a group of girls that wanted to go out clubbing, and they used to do it like every weekend, but then one of them became a new mum and wanted it to change and go to coffee shops and stuff, and they was like, no, we still want to enjoy our nights out. But hey, what do you guys make of this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for spending your time with me today. Getting involved in the stories, your love, support and time always means the absolute world to me, so thank you so much, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care guys, much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today